What's going on, family? I'm out here on my midday walk. I got the book with me today, man. I just wanted to go ahead and make this video because I want to start getting a little bit deeper with you guys. There's a lot of things in this Bible. There's so much. Every time you read this book, it's like you just get more stuff, more information. And that's why I love this thing, man, for real. But today, I'm going to be talking about the reason why God, Yahweh, the Most High, the Creator, whatever you want to call him, he flooded the earth. A lot of people would say, oh, the God of the Old Testament is mean. He wanted the old Israelites, ancient Israelites, to go around and kill all the babies and the mothers and all the animals from each land. But they speak without wisdom. They don't have the knowledge because they haven't read the Old Testament fully to understand the reason why the Most High wanted the Israelites to go around and kill the nations of the other lands that they were conquering. So right now I'm going to turn to Genesis 6. You can turn there with me if you have your book or if you have a Bible app or whatever, but give me 1 second. Because Genesis 6 is really where all of this began. Alright, Genesis 6, and we'll start right there in the beginning. When people began to multiply on the face of the ground, and daughters were born to them, the sons of God saw that they were fair. Now let's talk about that. Alright, the sons of God are the angels. The sons of God is not mankind. Alright, there is a rabbi called Rabbi Shimon Bar Yochai, and he's the reason why the doctrine of the sons of God are humans and are mankind, that's the reason why all that spread. Before him, everybody knew the sons of God were angels. If you read the Old Testament, every time they talk about the sons of God, Jesus, Yeshua, they're angels. Alright, they're not humankind, they're not mankind. That doctrine spread when he started suppressing the book of Enoch as well, because you cannot read the book of Enoch and see that and say that the sons of God are not angels. It's very clear, very clear. And the book of Enoch, I haven't gotten on that yet, but that is what we're talking about right now today. It explains this time period in more detail. Enoch elaborates everything that happened when the sons of God, the angels, came down and they made it with women. Okay, and he talks about that time, and they had to remove that in order to. Hey, how you doing? They had to remove that in order to, pretty much keep you guys sheep, keep you guys asleep to what's gonna happen. All right, because it says that in the days of Noah, so shall it be in the coming of man. So these times are gonna repeat themselves. But let me go ahead and keep reading. I'm gonna start over. When people began to multiply on the face of the ground, and daughters were born to them, the sons of God, angels, saw that they were fair, and they took wives for themselves of all that they chose. Then the Lord said, my spirit shall not abide in mortals forever, for they are flesh. Their days shall be numbered. No, their days shall be 120 years. Okay. So, again, the angels came down and they made it with women. All right. And God, the Most High, is like, that's not what I wanted. Their days should be numbered 120 years. So they have 120 years to repent. All right, and this is the time when Noah was going around trying to get all the people to repent. And he was building his ark and everything. They had 120 years, which we know the story. They didn't repent, so they got flooded. But the Most High gave them 120 years. And in verse 4 it says, the Nephilim were on the earth in those days. And also afterwards, the Nephilim are giants. All right, the giants were on the earth in those days. Whichever translation you have, it'll say that. Were on the earth in those days, and also afterwards. Also after what? After the flood. Okay? When the sons of God, the angels, went into the daughters of humans who bore children to them. Okay, let's keep going. Give me 1 second. These were the heroes of old, warriors of renown. All right, so I'm going to stop right there, because every ancient civilization talks about extremely tall giants. They all talk about these, they all have different mythologies, you know, Greek mythology, Roman mythology, Egyptian mythology. I think Hindu has mythology, all of them. But all of the ancient civilizations talk about extremely tall beings, all right, from 450 feet up to 3,000 L's. Some say half a mile long. All right, the book of Enoch says 3,000 L's. All right, and an L is the length from your finger, my middle finger, all the way down to my elbow. That's an L. All right. So anyway, they all talk about that. So my thing is, you know, is this all, you know, myth? Did it all just come out of thin air, or is there more to the story? Because the Bible talks about it too, but most people don't read the Bible, so they wouldn't get it. I'm trying to avoid the sun. Most people don't read the Bible, so they don't understand. You know, it's saying right here that this is how these giants were born. These creatures existed. All right, and the reason why Yah had to flood the earth was because they were creating beings that were never supposed to exist. All right, your Hercules, warriors of renown, you know, Percy, you got Zeus, all these other things, you know. And so they started worshiping them, and you got to really get into the book of Enoch to learn more about that. I'm not going to go too deep on, you know, what's happening in the book of Enoch, but it explains all of the stories and all the tales that happened during that time. Book of Enoch. But yeah, let me see. What else I want to talk about today? Okay, cool. So then they flooded the earth, you know, they started having sex with all the different beasts and creatures of the earth. That's where you get your centaurs, your minotaurs, and all these weird creatures. All right. But they also said that they came back afterwards. All right. So I'm going to show you why God said that you're going to have to kill all the women and the children and the beasts of the land, because, you know, they came back afterwards. These creatures that were never supposed to exist returned. All right. And there's a lot of different variations on how they return, but long story short, they do return. And if you read the first 5 books of Moses, being Genesis, Exodus, Leviticus, and Deuteronomy, you clearly see that. Hold on, let this car pass. But you clearly see that these giants, these Nephilim, return, not in the same height and stature, being, you know, 450 feet tall and up, but they were around 12 to 36 feet tall. All right, that's double the height of an average man, 6 feet. You know, so I'm gonna go ahead and read another example of it, because when Moses sent spies to the land of Canaan, all right, these spies came back, and I'm gonna share with you what they said to Moses. All right, they said, let me go back one page. Start there. All right, here we go. So it's in Numbers 13, verse 25. At the end of the 40 days, they returned from spying out the land, and they came to Moses and Aaron and to all the congregation of the Israelites in the wilderness of Paran at Kadesh. They brought back word to them and to all the congregation, and showed them the fruit of the land. So they showed them the fruit of the land for a reason, to show how big the people were of that land. All right? Showed them the fruit of the land. And they told him, we came to the land to which you sent us. It does flow of milk and honey, and this is its fruit. So again, they showed them the fruit. Yet the people who live there in the land are strong, and the towns are fortified and very large. And besides, we saw the descendants of Anak there. So if you know who Anak is, Anak was one of the strongest Nephilim, if not the strongest Nephilim of the antediluvian era. Antediluvian being after, post-diluvian era being after the flood. Okay, so after the flood happened, he was one of the strongest Nephilim that existed. So keep going. This wind is messing me up a little bit, but it's all good. Satan ain't gonna stop me today. Let me keep going though. So it says, we saw the descendants of Anak there. The Amalekites live in the land of the Negeb. the Hittites, and all these ites. You can go back to the Table of Nations. The Table of Nations is Genesis 10, where it explains where everybody came from. All right, all the ites that came from the line of Canaan. All right, they're the ones that are supposed to be the Nephilim. So you're hearing all the Nephilim surrounding the Promised Land. So again, the Amalekites live in the land of the Negev, the Hittites, the Jebusites, and the Amorites live in the hill country, and the Canaanites live by the sea and along the Jordan. But Caleb quieted the people before Moses and said, "Let us go up at once and occupy it, for we are well able to overcome it." Then the men who had gone up with him said, "We are not able to go up against these people, for they are stronger than we are." So they brought to the Israelites an unfavorable report of the land that they had spied out, saying, "The land we have gone through as spies is a land that devours its inhabitants, and all the people that we saw in it are of great size." All right, I'm going to stop right there for a little bit because actually, I'm going to keep going. I'll come back to this. There we saw the Nephilim. The Anakites come from the Nephilim. Again, Anak. And to ourselves, we seem like grasshoppers, and so we seem to them. So, all right. Modern day translations will have it make you seem like, oh yeah, Shaq was like that tall. Shaq was taller than these dudes. They weren't that tall. Nah, seem like grasshoppers. If you look down at the grasshopper, I want you to, look at the size difference between you and a grasshopper. Like, they try to make them seem like, oh, these guys were just exaggerating. But if you type it in, the scale of a Nephilim ratio on Google, I'll post it here in the video actually, you'll see the difference in size of these guys, and why they said that are very large. They're not sitting here just over exaggerating. All right, these are people that have seen miracles. They're not going to over exaggerate on a grasshopper. All right, they wouldn't be scared of somebody like Shaq's height. All right, you got other Nephilim throughout the Bible. Og of Bashan, he's mentioned many times. Okay, King Og of Bashan. David and Goliath. Goliath was actually on a smaller scale of the Nephilim. They said he was around 9 feet tall. All right, but it devours its inhabitants. It devours them because the Nephilim were supposed to be cannibals. All right, that's why throughout the Bible you always see they're having famines in the land. Why? Because they have these Nephilim. If they're eating up everything, somebody that's 36 feet tall, eating up everything in the land, you're gonna have famines. You're gonna have long periods of times without food because these very large creatures are eating everything. And when they eat everything, then they're gonna turn and they're gonna start eating you. So that's where a lot of this comes from. I'm gonna go ahead and close this video out. I'm gonna make a part 2 and post it with this, because this one's getting kind of long, but I wanted to read the scriptures to you before I talked about it in more detail to show you that these people existed and to show you what happened to these people and really what's to come next. So again, if you got this far on the video, I appreciate you guys watching. Again, all praise to the Most High. See y'all on Judgment Day.